Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about various ways to mix patterns. So we've been getting a lot of emails and questions about how to mix patterns, what's right, what's wrong. There's no real correct answer, but today we're going to show you a little bit of insight on how George and I decide to put pieces together.
Right, I mean, we're just going to kind of give you a few rules to follow and guidelines that will keep you safe in the pattern mixing realm. So, first of all, I went with just a plaid shirt and then kind of like a geometric, larger polka dot tie. And the reason I picked this was because the geometric shapes on the shirt are tight and small together. So I went with a bigger pattern on the tie. So when you're mixing patterns, you kind of want to keep the shapes contrasting, so squares and circles, triangles and circles, you know, that kind of thing. And then you want to keep them varying in size. So if it's small on the shirt, go big on the tie. If it's big on the shirt, go small on the tie.
There you go.
It's a good contrast to the outfit, and you don't want to overdo it. So I went with just a subtle blue textured blazer to, you know, kind of button it up a little bit.
That's my next question. So mixing patterns is one thing. What about mixing textures? I know it's different, but I mean, you also want to keep that in mind when you're playing with patterns, right?
Right.
So for instance, this is like a nice, rich, textured pattern. It's nice and heavy, but you paired it with a silk tie.
Right.
And just a regular cotton shirt, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, it flows well, it fits well. It actually looks really nice.
Thank you. And I mean, this combo that Blake's wearing, I don't think in a million years I would ever attempt to pull it off, but somehow he makes it look good, so.
Yeah, so today I went with a more bold look. I went with green, red, and black. So combos don't really go unless it's Christmas, but today they're going. I went ahead and I paired, it's like a blue and green shirt, spread collar with a nice thick red stripe. I think it's red and blue stripe tie.
A little bit gray in there.
So it's really loud, as you can see. It's a bit much. But what I did to offset it and to make it a little bit more subtle is that I put a black vest over it. So the black vest I always keep more or less 3/4 zipped. So you just see a peak of the tie.
The vest kind of tones everything down, and you don't see too much of one pattern in one place, because just the shirt alone is like in your face, and then the tie is still kind of giving you like the second jab to the face.
Yep.
But when you cover it up with like a little bit of black, it tones everything down and brings it really together. Now we're just gonna kind of go over a few other looks we kind of put together and show you like what ties would go with certain looks and what, I guess, some other rule of thumbs would be to follow when you're mixing patterns. So let's start with where the patterns are. So you don't always have to have the patterns on your shirt and your tie. They can come from patterns on your blazer as well. So if you're going with patterns on your blazer though, I would recommend keeping the shirt subtle and just kind of doing other accents of patterns with a pocket square or a tie.
Yeah, you want to keep it, you want to, I guess, counterbalance.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're going to look very, very bold, very like peacock.
You can mix all these patterns together, but it's one, very difficult to do, and two, you might be getting the kind of the wrong attention. So, I mean, if this on a certain guy could make you look like a picnic table if it's not fitted right, or
No,
like,
I agree.
So be careful with wearing bold pattern suits if you don't have a right fit, because if it's not fitted right, a bold pattern kind of makes you look like a tablecloth or a picnic table.
Yeah,
or
terrible.
Like, yes. And when you're wearing a bold pattern blazer, you don't really necessarily have to go with a tie. You can leave the collar a little open and just, you know, show a little extra pop with a pocket square. So have a little fun there. If I was gonna pick a tie from this table for this outfit, I would probably go with this guy.
That was my choice. Yeah.
Just because it's this geometric shape is gonna kind of pop in there, but it still gives it a little texture. But I think from far away, it probably just looks like one solid gray with like a little.
You wouldn't really see this as well, so it just fit perfectly.
Right.
You know what? Honestly, I'd probably go no tie.
I would too.
And then just wear some trousers, so it'll kind of class it up with some nice brogues.
Nice shoes.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes less is more.
So today we're gonna go through two more looks, and we're just gonna kind of show you why and how we would pair ties and patterns with outfits that we kind of put together earlier today. So first we have this small check and corduroy blazer. So it's a dark navy and white check and we've kind of brought out an array of ties that might or might not work. So we're just gonna kind of pick our favorites and tell you why.
I'll go first.
Yep.
So off the back, I think I would choose this burgundy tie. I feel like the colors contrast very well. I think even with the pocket square, it has a little bit of burgundy in it. So I think that'll be a nice look. The blazer is very textured, and I think the tie would just pop just right, just enough.
This is the tie I would go with, just because this is the same dark navy that's in the small check. So I think, you know, even the polka dots are a small contrasting because it's a bigger small check than the polka dots are. So there's small polka dots, big check, texture blazer, and then there's even some polka dots and geometric shapes in the pocket square, so it comes all together. So I mean, that's pretty much the reason behind this corduroy jacket, small check shirt.
So next we went with I guess the loudest of the three.
Right.
This is a polka dot shirt, blue and white, with the extremely spread collar.
Yeah.
So this is your more risque. This is something that you'd have to really think about when wearing. How would you do yours?
You know what's funny is, like, looking at this table, I think I could style every one of these
With this shirt?
every one of these ties with this shirt. Like that doesn't look bad.
No, that's the first one I thought about.
Right?
What about
But
the second one?
I mean, look, a bigger polka dot with a smaller polka dot,
But
not bad either.
but the collar is spread.
The collar is spread, so the thinness of the tie, but the pattern.
Okay.
If this was a thicker tie and you could do a double Windsor to fill out the
So
spread collar.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Strictly pattern, not necessarily exactly ties, because this is like from 1945. So, but like that's probably the one that might work the least.
You know what? But this with
a vest.
Yeah, or like a full suit, fitting blue suit. I think that would look very sharp. Yeah, guys. I guess pattern mixing, like we said, there is no right and wrong. You just have to really feel it and go with it. And like, that looks nice.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
looks really nice.
you would think this would be the hardest thing to pair.
Yeah, that's nice as well. So you guys, I mean, there's no right answer, I guess.
No, I mean,
Like,
they all look good in a different way. I mean, maybe we can get more into how to style for certain events and certain, I guess, airs that you want to give off.
Well, also one thing that I consider when mixing patterns is also the time of the year.
Yeah.
So for instance, like fall and autumn, or fall and autumn, you want to make sure that you use a little bit darker colors, maroons and such forth. In the summer, I go with like some lighter colors, some I guess sky blues and brighter greens, and I kind of go with I guess the climate.
That's funny you say that. I think for like fall and winter, I tend to do more texture mixing than pattern mixing, even though the patterns might be different.
Yeah,
but
right.
Like,
No, you're right.
I do like wools with houndstooth and that kind of
Cashmere,
stuff. Right.
corduroy, and such forth. Yeah.
And then
same here.
in the spring, because
Linen.
all you want all light fabrics,
Yeah.
so you tend to play more with the patterns.
Yeah,
So I feel like pattern mixing lends itself more to spring and summer, and texture mixing lends itself to fall, winter.
There you go.
So that wraps up Pattern Mixing 101. If you have any comments, comment below. Like this video. Let us know which one of these 3 combos was your favorite, and if you have like a go-to pattern combination that you like to use that maybe we didn't mention here. It's always nice to get a different perspective. So thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Like us on Instagram @GentsLounge. #your pictures, #GentsLounge. And don't be afraid to mix those patterns, guys.